And good late morning, almost afternoon. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. I hope that you're doing well and having a fantastic one out there. It is freezing right now, and I mean that literally. It's reached freezing temperatures here. Let me turn off my heater actually because it's actually being a little too warm in the room. I got it nice and hot. A little stuffy now, though. Today we're going to listen to John Hassell. We're going to listen to this track off of his album City Works of Fiction, released 1990. The track we're going to be checking out today is going to be entitled Warriors from this album. We're listening to it because it was suggested and sponsored by Herb. So Herb, thank you so much for the recommendation. Thank you so much for the support as well. Okay, so John Hassell. This is going to sound weird, but hear me out. John Hassell is one of my favorite musicians, but I haven't heard a lot from him. But I really admire his approach to music from what I've heard so far. I really admire how creative he is and his atmospherics and how he uses his instruments in a way that I think is just incredibly unique and kind of one of a kind. But I actually haven't listened to a lot of his music or really any of his albums, really. I don't think, have I listened to any of his albums at all? Okay, yes, I did. It was a long time ago. I did listen to Last Night the Moon Came. So I did listen to that one. And I've wanted to explore more albums from him, like on the channel, or actually in general. But it makes more sense to do it on the channel. But I don't know how well his works would translate to a reaction. So that's why I've kind of held off sometimes on doing that. But, you know, it's always something I could possibly do. I just never thought about, like, should I do it on the channel? Because I feel like that might be a boring reaction to watch, you know? But I mean, who knows? We do some ambient and stuff sometimes, so there's always a chance. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this song, this piece of music. I'm imagining that there's not going to be any lyrics, but you never know. We'll talk about it and discuss it a little bit after Warriors. Sharp jump. Can I tell you 100% from back to front? That is absolutely not what I expected when I clicked on Jon Hassell today. I was expecting something meditative, ambient to an extent, with some shades, but this was completely off the wall. This was completely different than what I expected, and so unique. Can I tell you the phrase that I came up with listening to this sounded like tribal catharsis. This sounded like during the day, the natives are hunting, farming, cleaning, washing, doing their normal day to day. And as that builds up, at night, the fire is lit, the mask and the face paint and such is put on, and like they just dance around the fire and celebrate. And I think that this sounds like tribal catharsis. It has those, down to earth kind of instrumentals, the percussion, the tabla, and seemingly other instruments maybe related to it. The bass, however, brings in this kind of interesting, funky rhythm to it. It actually reminds me a little bit of like Levin in the bass playing. And there's something Crimson-esque as well, perhaps about some of the ways that it plays here, which I think is incredibly interesting here. And it's hypnotic, it's chaotic. Somehow it strikes a nice balance between the two. And I think that it just has this really earthy, folky, ritualistic kind of sensibility to it, which you just feel yourself being pulled into it. It is a little strange when it starts off. It is a little, weird for us, for the listener. It is a little bit uncomfortable. But once you get drawn in, moth to flame, you realize, oh, the flame is just a nice little warming light, just a nice little area heater on a cold night, and you want to just stay near it as much as possible. And so it's really interesting how this whole thing was put together in this way that, like I said, it is very complex in its way. But it's also there's also a lot of melodies that come around and are catchy at certain moments, definitely credited by Hassell and his trumpet playing, which is both tense and yet kind of relaxing in many ways. He kind of shifts quite nicely between the two, especially near the end. He kind of goes into these sharp jabs with the trumpet, those bop, da 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 bop, and he just kind of, it's almost doing like a conga line, da da. Like, no, you can feel a conga line at the end of this. I'm not making a joke. Like, you can kind of see it, right? So that's what I mean. There is a sort of abstract catchiness that is imbued into the music quite properly here. And I think that that's incredibly intelligent how that's done. There's also a darkness that, to me, is just seething throughout this track, throughout the veins of this track. And it's not really lit up by really any light. It's lit up by that catharsis, by that release. That is what this all builds up to, that rhythmic release here that you see at the end. Or here at the end. So obviously trumpet and keyboards, you have Jon Hassell performing that. Percussion, Adam Rudolph and Jeff Rona, who's also handling some keyboards. You have some guitar by Greg Oregon, and bass, which is performed by Daniel Schwartz. I've never heard. I don't think of Daniel Schwartz. His name doesn't at least sound familiar. Let me see if I can find perhaps what other work he's perhaps worked on, because his bass playing was quite nice. It was really interesting here. I'm hoping that this is the same Dan Schwartz that we've talked about. I'm just on a. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm on psaudio.com and looking at a memoir regarding him, and he's worked with many musicians. I'm looking at a few: Sheryl Crow, Jon Hassell, as we've heard, Keith Levine from Public Image Ltd., Roseanne Cash, Bill Bottrell, Eno, and many, many others. It shows here. So it definitely shows his musical hold on, there's a word I'm thinking of. When your musical compatibility. Compatibility is the word I'm thinking of. His musical compatibility works really well here with Hassell. And now I'm just on his Wikipedia page here. You can kind of see some other works that he's worked on here. And I think that it's really, really well. Like I said, it really does remind me of Levin a little bit in the way that he plays. It has that deep, deep hypnotic groove, and yet it also has this really cool rhythmic sensibility to it. You can move to it. There's a lot of space left in the track as well where, maybe the rhythm isn't so pronounced. It isn't so evident by someone playing the percussion or the bass or whatever it might be. But then when that heartbeat of the music starts back up, it's really, really interesting how that all comes together. Really, really interesting. I think that this was a really interesting and cool kind of track, and definitely a different side of Hassell than I was kind of expecting to hear from him. So, kind of interesting. It's interesting for me to hear this side of him because I didn't know it was a side, to be honest. So that's something I feel like I should definitely explore more from him. It's just I would love to do it on here, but I don't know if people would be really receptive to it, or if it's something I should do on my own. But I haven't done it on my own because I don't know. I don't want to spoil it in case people want to watch it. So I'm kind of in that in between. Who knows? But this was cool. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching, Herb. Thank you so much for the support as well and the suggestion. Really unique one with this one today, Warriors. And it does have that warrior kind of gathering for that last night before battle kind of energy. Just that release that I think is searched for in this track. Really nice work. Let me know what you guys thought of it down there in the comments below. I appreciate you as always watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.